Hello, my name is Monica Campbell, and I will be discussing the art and architecture of the Urnes Stave Church in Urnes, Norway, which was built in the early 12th century. At this time, the age of the Viking was ending, and Christianity was beginning to become the dominant religion of this northern European region. I am first going to briefly discuss the history and culture of the Vikings in order to make sense of the church's art and architecture. The Viking Age, scholars have estimated, was likely brought about in the late 8th century and lasted until the 11th century. Vikings were amongst a group of people known as the Norsemen and resided in a region called Scandinavia, which now consists predominantly of the modern European countries Norway, Sweden, and Denmark. The Norse were polytheistic and worshipped numerous complex gods and goddesses, similar to those of ancient Egypt and Greece. Like these cultures, they too developed an intricate universe of their own, allegories of gods and heroes. Their art throughout the centuries often reflected their religious beliefs, social relations, and mythic past. Christianity was introduced to the region in the mid-11th century. However, the Norsemen were not entirely enthusiastic of converting to monotheism. When Stave churches began to appear throughout Norway and Denmark, they often acted as dual faith meeting places, worshipping their pagan gods one week and the new Christian god the next. The elaborate, gorgeous structure of these churches was reminiscent to the Old Norse ways. Large pillars to support the structures were symbolic of the sacred tree Yggdrasil, a giant ash tree that represented the Norse world and its 9 tiered realms. The church's interior roofs were constructed as duplications of the interior of their vast, element-resistant Viking ships, flipped upside down. Amidst the interior and exterior of these churches were often wood-carved reliefs depicting images of their previous Viking culture that they were reluctant to completely let go. Although the Viking era had ended around the 11th century, the culture and craftsmanship continued to be passed down from previous generations throughout the Middle Ages. The Urnes Stave Church, which stands in western Norway, was built in the early 12th century and is Norway's oldest standing church. Its exterior roof has a scale design likely reminiscent to that of a dragon's, as dragons were a major component of Norse mythology. However, its practical function was to ensure that snow slid off in the winter. Its interior roof, as mentioned earlier, is as that of a Viking ship, and not a single nail was used in the entire church's structure. Inside, there are several carved dragons around the church's wooden framework, and the candle holder at the altar is shaped like a Viking ship, with none other than a dragon at the bow. The decorative relief carvings along the exterior of the church depict the pagan serpent Nidhogg, who dwelt in the icy realm of Niflheim. Here, he is entangled within the cosmic tree Yggdrasil's roots as he gnaws on a stag's neck, all of which is representative of life's struggles and death at the root of the universe. The abstracted forms of the intertwining roots and branches, along with the serpent and stag, react with one another in synchronic rhythm. This late Viking style acts as a sort of ode to beauty and rhythm existing amongst chaos. This concludes my discussion of the brief history and the artwork of the Urnes Stave Church in Norway. Thanks so much for listening.